Arsenal's squad is a joke. A team that conceded just 0.65 goals against per game in 2024, which is 0.115 better than any other team. They got Calafiori coming in to reinforce the defence. Jurrien Timber is essentially a new signing. They only, pretty much lost the title to City by 2 points. A Manchester City side that won the treble the year before with the best defence. What Arsenal did last season was insane. 2.39 goals scored per game and 0.76 conceded. They actually had better underlying numbers than Manchester City in all metrics as well. But Manchester City probably just had Haaland, a game winner for them, an absolute insane guy that you'd almost think is AI. And they've obviously brought in Merino, they've brought in Calafiori, they've brought in Sterling to add to this. And this is 3 very good signings. I know they didn't maybe get a striker, which is what Arsenal wanted, and Nico Williams probably would have been the winger of choice. But you cannot doubt that these are 3 quality signings to add to what is already a very good Arsenal squad that has improved every season under Arteta, that is young, that is continually improving. Now, I'm seeing an Arsenal meltdown online. Odegaard, Merino, Rice, all out of the North London derby. Season could be over. Reactionary Twitter, as you do. But I'm here to tell you why Arsenal squad is a joke in terms of how versatile your players are. The versatility, the technical abilities of your player and Mikel Arteta's tactics is an absolute joke how good it is. And that Arsenal, even with these 3 players out for 1 game, will be fine. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to beat Tottenham Hotspur. I don't know how that game's going to go. Tottenham Hotspur on their day, they give you a game. Tottenham Hotspur, when they're having an off day, it could be a field day. But I'm going to talk about Nwaneri. I probably said his name wrong. I'm going to talk about Jurrien Timber, who could play in midfield. I'm going to talk about what Arsenal can do. Kai Havertz that can play in midfield, and why they have these unique profiles that other teams don't have. Like, I think Kai Havertz and Jurrien Timber are 2 of the most unique profiles in football. How Arteta's almost created new positions for players, and why Arsenal's team is crazy. Now, this is a comparison of them compared to City last season. City beat Arsenal physically and in possession just. But if you look at defending, you look at counters, you look at pressing, you see what Arsenal actually underlying numbers were slightly better than City statistically last year, which shows that Arsenal deserved to be, win a title last year. They didn't because City is so good, but they've got a team, they've got a squad, they've got a manager capable of winning a deserved title. Not luck, deserved. So let's talk about Arsenal. Let's talk about the players. Let's talk about why the squad is a joke in terms of how unpredictable it is, how Arteta can do so much. The players we're going to focus on are Havertz, Jurrien Timber, Merino, Calafiori, Sterling, and Nwaneri. Because obviously there's rumours of, if Odegaard's out, is Havertz going to play as a 10? Or is he going to stay centre forward? Could Jurrien Timber go into midfield? Could Nwaneri go into midfield? How are the new signings going to help out? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. And I want to talk about Jurrien Timber. Now, Jurrien Timber's a guy I know a lot about, probably more than all of our Arsenal's other signings, because I was a big fan of watching him at Ajax. I watched him last season. I wanted him at Manchester United, the right back that did mostly play centre back at Ajax. What I would say is a very good player. And I think when Arsenal signed him, I remember being jealous. Now, you didn't see him last year because he suffered a horrible injury. But I think elements of this season when he's played, you can already see that he's been good for Arsenal. You can already see, this guy's a player. This guy's going to be a good addition. Do you know what I mean? Now, what you've got with him is a player that's technically insane. He could play in midfield, maybe now that Rice and Odegaard are both injured. And the reason he could play in midfield is because he can break lines with his passing. He can cover ground and is a good ground duel winner, meaning he has the attributes to play in midfield. You need a midfielder that can win duels, that can break the lines, that is comfortable on the ball, that can cover ground. You get that in Timber. And was not a natural midfielder. Gravenberch isn't a natural number 6. He's an 8 playing as a 6. Now, it's more different as a right back playing as a 6, but he can do it. He could do it. He can play left back, he can play centre back, he can play right back. Arteta signed Timber because of how versatile and how insane he was. And he's definitely got the ability to provide those underlaps for Saka. Now, I don't think that he should play midfield, but I think if those 2 players are out injured, you look at Jorginho, you look at Partey, you look at Timber, you look at Nwaneri, that's probably the midfield options you got, unless you want to drop Havertz deeper, but I think Jesus could be injured. Unless you want to play Trossard centrally, because you've got Sterling now on the wings, you could do that. But I think he's got the attributes to play in midfield. And I think, whether he starts at right back and inverts into midfield, like Arsenal have done, they could actually have 2 fullbacks inverting into midfield. They could have both Zinchenko and Timber inverting into midfield. They could have both Ben White and Timber inverting into midfield. He's going to contribute to build up. He's going to allow them to play this 2-3 shape. He's going to really help Arteta in build up and tactical elements that he can do versus Tottenham. If you look at him now, and I spoke about why he could play in midfield, you look at his passing statistics, 99th percentile for so many of these. I'm not even going to read them out. You can see it on the screen. You can pause. But not just Jurriën Timber. I think Kai Havertz is one of the most unique profiles in football. 16 goal contributions in his last 18 games for Arsenal. Only Cole Palmer and Haaland have more goals and assists than in 2024. And if you take away penalties, I think only Haaland just beats them by 1 now in 2024, which shows how good he's been. And I think since he found form around Christmas time for Arsenal, he's almost not looked back. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He has absolutely phenomenal in recent times for Arsenal. So let's talk about Kai Havertz and the profile of player that he is. So let's talk about Arsenal, Kai Havertz, and everything that you need to see. Now, these are his statistics. 13 goals, 7 assists, 20 goal contributions, and in fact, he got 21 in all competitions. But he really hit form the second half of the season, where I think like 17 of those goal contributions came in his like last 20 games when he hit form. But 20 goal contributions is decent, particularly because he played elements in midfield. I think this season, now he's got confident, now he's got used to the Arsenal role, now he's in more of an attacking role, he can get 30 goal contributions. But the interesting thing about Havertz is he's someone that can play in midfield with the right players around him, but definitely thrives as a second striker or a striker. And he's probably one of the most intelligent players in world football off the ball. You look at these runs from midfield, this was a pre-season friendly, he gets down the left wing, he provides an assist. He is really good at running down that left channel, dragging defenders out wide, and then he'll open up space in the centre for other Arsenal players to get in and take advantage of because he drags a player out. I remember when Arsenal beat Liverpool, I remember him sort of getting Konate sent off, but dragging Konate out of position and opening space for Arsenal. I remember how good it was. I remember how he can just crash the box with those runs, and he's so unpredictable. Now, his best role for me is a centre-forward. I think he can roam around the second striker role. I think, but he's best as a centre-forward or second striker, roaming around the area, making those box crashes runs. But I think if you get all the elements right, he could play as a left centre-mid. He did versus Leverkusen in pre-season. He was unbelievable. I think he didn't work last season because of the conditions and because of his confidence and because obviously Saka was such a possession-heavy player, whereas Havertz isn't. It was two different profiles. But I think in terms of his ability to underlap, his ability to crash the box, if he was given the freedom to play as a second striker, he could start as a left centre-mid in the right areas. But he's definitely a centre-forward for me. It's his reading of the game, his off-the-ball movement, him popping up with runs. That's where he'll thrive. And I think Havertz is really showing why he's been a good signing for Arsenal, and the Leverkusen Havertz has been coming out. He can link up really well, whether it's with the striker, whether it's with the centre forward. His positional play, his ability to stretch high and wide, create space for himself, teammates. His spatial awareness is insane. His stats are coming. He's contributing in the final third. His IQ awareness and movement is another level. It allows Arsenal to be unpredictable. He takes advantage of the pockets of space in the box. He gets on the end of things. He's also good in the air. He can allow Arsenal to sort of, be more threatening from set pieces, play over the press. He is someone that they can hold up the ball. And, he's got the ability to run off players, which is what he's shown in pre-season. And he can hold up the ball so players can run off him. But I think the most exciting player coming through is Nwaneri. And with injuries coming up at Arsenal, could he take that spot of Odegaard? That was a big ask for a 17-year-old. But I remember watching Arsenal in pre-season. He was impressive. Now, what you've got with Nwaneri is predominantly an attacking midfielder, but he's versatile. He can play anywhere. But he has elements of, I wouldn't say he's similar, but you know how Cole Palmer can play anywhere, but it's definitely an attacking midfielder. Phil Foden can play anywhere, definitely attacking midfielder. He's Arsenal's version of Phil Foden, Cole Palmer. Do you know what I mean? I think he's versatile, he's intelligent, he's creative, he's a technical player that excels best in the 10 role. His close control, his ability to be press resistant, those touches, his short passing, his link up, his runs, his work rate is unreal. His ability in tight spaces to use his body, even though he's not physically massive, to use his body physically, to dribble around players, to hold off opponents, to use his feet and move it quick, to manipulate defenders to think he's going to go one way, he goes the other way. His ability in tight spaces, but then not just to wriggle around players, but to pick out a pass and play through opposition is brilliant. For 17 years of age, his technical level was miles ahead. There's a reason Arteta has put faith in him, because for his age, he's unreal. Low centre of gravity, press resistance, IQ, spatial awareness, whether that's with runs into the box to get on the end of crosses and tap it in from the back post. His finishing is good, whether it's him finding space and using his insane passing range to open up the space. He looks unbelievable for his age. I remember he got 5 goals in the second half game versus Crew. Yes, it is Crew, but he showed what a player he is. And I think his scanning is where he's special, where he can exploit defences. And I think Arsenal have an exciting player there. And I think he could maybe get minutes this season. They obviously got the signing of Merino. I've spoke about this guy loads, so I'm not going to get too much detail. But with Mikel Merino, you've got a guy that is going to impact Arsenal aerially. He's going to provide those underlaps on the left-hand side, probably improve Martinelli. He's someone that can operate in all phases, whether it's build-up, whether it's in the final third contributing goals. He's going to be an aerial monster from set pieces. You've got that. And I think what Arsenal have got with Merino is potentially a title-winning signing. The physical ability, the dual winning, the aerial dominance, technically good, the mobility, the ground coverage. He ticks every box that Arteta wants in a midfielder. And then lastly, the final piece of the puzzle at Arsenal was Sterling. Proven output in the Premier League at a dysfunctional Chelsea side. He's still got all right output. And like Havertz, he's only going to improve at Arsenal. He averages a goal and assist every 120 minutes in the Premier League, has a very good fitness and availability record, has won, I think, 4 league titles, has worked with Arteta at City. He ranks 18th for Premier League goals. All-time got top scorer chart. His last season at City, he still got 25 goal contributions in 47 games. I believe he only had about 33 starts, so it was very good output in his final season at City. He was just tossed by Pep because he wanted a different dynamic, not because he wasn't good enough. And I think Arsenal needed a winger. I think Arsenal needed a winger more than they needed a striker because there's such a reliance on Saka. You can drop Saka and play Sterling. Martinelli hasn't been good enough for the last year. Sterling can pop up. Trossard is great, but he seems better off the bench. Trossard seems, when he comes off the bench, to be unreal. So I think that gives Arsenal dynamic on the wings. I think they've got some youth dynamic, but I think they've got also 2 unique profiles in Timber and Havertz that could play in midfield, that could play all around, that can do certain things. Timber on the ball, Havertz off the ball. They've got youth and they've got good new signings. So I think, well, there's a little bit of fear, and I think the Arsenal fan base recently, I think where Arsenal are at, they're in a very good position. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. See you next time. Bye.